And everything's operating fine here. If I was to go into my devices, you will metadata, see all green check marks. Everything's functioning properly, okay? If we had an issue, let's say you loaded cable TV on HDMI 1 and you put Apple TV on HDMI 1. The system's gonna realize you got a problem because you have two devices connected into one input. What you would see is you would see a yellow check mark. And the yellow check mark is just to say it's operating, but you do have an error that needs to be repaired. So if I was to click on that particular, say the remote, right here, it would, the very first thing that would pop up is that particular problem. It would actually say repair this. You click repair, and then you assign it to the appropriate location. You put Apple TV on HDMI 2, and then it's up and running again. Everything's fine. Yeah, so what we've taken a lot of what we learned on our Pro side and applied it to this product, but we call this software Instant. The Pro product, you need a MacBook Pro laptop, you need a special software called Blueprint, and it takes programming. This is all managed on an app. So let me show you one thing. So we're going to add a product. I mentioned we don't have Apple TV here. So let's go ahead and add a new product. So we're going to hit the plus sign up on top. You'll see here's where I get my subcategories. Now currently, as I mentioned, this is designed as an entertainment remote. As we add thermostats, there'll be a category that'll say thermostats. When we add security, there'll be a category that'll say security, for example. So currently we have SAVANT products, if we were to add more devices like a remote control or a second host, more blasters, or if we were to add more Sonos. So in this case, we're gonna go to add entertainment devices. We hit begin. Now from here, you're gonna get a list of subcategories. So you'll see AV receivers, sound bars, sound systems. You'll see a variety of different products, and there you have Apple TV, Roku, cable, satellite, whatever you're looking for. In this case, we're gonna go ahead and add Apple. So hit next. Okay, so it says make sure your television is on, and make sure that your other devices are on. So hopefully that'll fire up. There we go. Okay, so Apple TV is on, and most likely it will be on HDMI input number 2 because that's where the satellite TV was set up. So now we're going to hit next, and now it says, okay, we're going to add this device. Do you want to add it now, or do you want to continue? So we'll hit continue. So there's my Apple TV. Now, if you know where everything is, and it's all accessible to you, and you know where everything is, you could easily hit manual setup, and then just put video input and audio input, and then hit done, and you're set to go. But let's say, for example, we don't know where it is. We can go over here and hit setup. And then it says, okay, make sure the Apple TV is connected to the cable box or to the television. Hit next. Then we're going to test the input. Now I believe it should be on. Yep, it's on number 2. So I'm going to hit number 1. What will happen is the TV should go to HDMI 1. That's where I want my Apple TV to be. Okay. So now that we did that, that's exactly where I want it. Click next. And then it says, all right, let's test some features. Now, I think Apple TV may change when I do this. Yep, sure did. So the menu popped up just like it requested. But now you can't see this, so I will change this back. Go here, here, Apple TV. There we go, all right. So that worked, so you click yes. All right, Apple TV set, hit done. This takes about a minute now, because what ends up happening is the information now is being sent to the host, embedded in there, and then from the host it's going to go up to the cloud, store it up there into your account, and then update the remote control. Now, again, this is only as fast as your Wi-Fi network. So one thing that we always recommend is make sure that you check their Wi-Fi network. No offense to Netgear or some of those other systems, but it's more about the band. I was operating on a Netgear N router, I think it was, for the last couple of years. It was fantastic when I first got it, but then once I started getting pads, more computer streaming, more phone streaming in my home, I ended up having my network crashing all the time, and my daughter would call me up and go, hey, it's not working. I got an AC router last October. It's now been a year and a month. I have never reset it. I've never even touched it. I know it sits behind my printer inside my office, but I have not even touched that thing since it was installed in my home. So make sure that the customer upgrades their routers to the latest, greatest, because at the end of the day, the more devices you have in your home, the more multi-streaming you're doing, especially with more Internet of Things, that system's gonna crash or not give them what they expect. You're going to set up, and I will use Sonos, you're going to set up Sonos in the house. There's going to be yourself and maybe the customer. That's it. Everything works fine. Plenty of bandwidth. Kids show up with all their devices, things start to crash, and who are they going to call? You guys. So I recommend a software called, if you don't, some of you have Wi-Fi checking equipment, but there's a software you can put on your phone called Cloud Check. It's free. It's available on Apple and Android. It's easy to use. You just go into the customer's home, you ask them for their Wi-Fi and their password, you get on, and then you can walk through each room and hit test, and it'll give you the throughput of what is coming down in each room, and you can see where their hot spots are and their weak spots are. Again, Cloud Check, it's one word. It's free app. I use it all the time just to test my home and to see where I have any dead spots. If you have a dead spot, then you might want to either encourage them to get an extender or a brand new router. At the end of the day, that's an additional sale for you guys. I mean, really, there's some people who won't give up their routers. I have a box of routers in my garage from all the routers. I don't know why I'm keeping them. My wife always asks me I should throw them out. For those of you who still remember PCMI, those guys. I still have a couple of cards that slide into your laptop. I don't know why I have them, because laptops don't even have the input anymore for them. But I still have those guys floating around my house. But yes, upgrade the people to the latest, greatest. They won't be sorry. At the end of the day, those devices were designed for a certain period, a certain type of time that we no longer use. So the newer routers, and there will be new routers. There's actually going to be an AF and an AH, I believe, coming out. No, AG and then AF. So right now we're on AC. They're already working on the next ones, which will expand and go through thicker walls at the end of the day. By the way, our device, our system operates on 2.4. Okay, so everything that we run has to be on 2.4. Okay, so again, if you have the newer routers, you have 2.4 and you have 5. Some routers even have a third band added to it. The routers are designed to manage the devices and move them around based on traffic. So try to get all the devices that we're going to manage onto the 2.4. Let everybody else ride on 5, because that way you're not, hogging up the bandwidth and it's spread out. Okay. That's right, we're over here. All right, so we added Apple TV, by the way. I forgot to do that. So you can see there, we have Apple TV now loaded. So it didn't take that long. While I was talking, once that little update happened, it changed right over, and now I have Apple TV loaded onto my device. And let me go over here, hit good night, turn everything off. And now I could actually go back up and say, now that everything's turned off, I can say Apple TV, and the TV should, sorry. See, this is, again, words. Sometimes if you say PBS, you might get CBS. I have a lisp. So voice control is fantastic, but again, just like Siri, it's sometimes not there. Cable TV's on, Apple TV. There we go. Apple TV, and Apple TV should be on, which you see it just changed over to Apple TV is now on in the family room. And flicked over, changed this. TV should have gone to HDMI 1, which it is. So you can see it is a functioning voice command, but only within what I loaded. Earlier, if I would have said Apple TV, it wouldn't have gone there. It would have found the closest resemblance to Apple TV, like MTV, for example. you know, because Apple TV wasn't loaded. Once it was loaded, it recognized, okay, we got Apple TV, turn it on.
As far as creating a macro of things?
You cannot create macros currently. Again, as we launch the next software where we can do the smart, or we can do the adding of the button, then we'll be able to do it. As a matter,
do it automatically. We're just
yes. So
bound by what you're.
Yes. So when one of the videos is actually going to show you about video input switching. Okay. So as I mentioned, we don't support HDMI switchers, but we support audio-video devices as your switcher, or your TV as your switcher. So at the end of the day, you'll see, and the video will show options. And you tell it, I want option 1, where everything's going to my AV receiver and then to my TV. And then it will set those, the command codes in that particular direction, where it will turn, for example, in my house, it turns on my AV receiver first, turns on my cable box second, turns on my TV third, and then it sends a command for what channel I wanted. So it will automatically set them. Now you can set up delays on some of them because, again, you have an old TV. Up to last year, I still had a bulb Sony Wega television, if anybody remembers, 25-incher that weighed about 100 pounds. This guy, when you first turned it on, the lights in the house actually dimmed. I mean, it went, you know, and it took, I mean, it seemed like a minute. I mean, it was probably maybe 30 seconds before it fired up, but it seemed like a minute with today's televisions. But you can set up those macro delays, but that's really the only ones that you can set up, okay? All right, so let me get this back over here. So I showed you how to set up, oh, sorry, wrong one. Got back there, sorry. All right, you go here. Apple TV. All right, so I showed you how to load a device. We loaded up Apple TV. Now we're going to set up a scene. So since Apple TV is currently on right now, what I want to do is go back over here, hit my lamp. I'm going to turn my lamp on to dim. My lamp should go on. There we go, one light on in the room. So now over here on my little bar down below, you will notice Apple TV is on. You can tell by the little button right there. And as I mentioned, you have what are called quick controls on your quiz. If I click and hold that button, there's my quick control. I can power off Apple TV, I can mute it, or I can fast forward if I was watching something. All right. Same thing with my lamp. I can click and hold, and up comes up a power button. But in this case, what I'm going to do is create a scene. So I have my lamp on and I have my Apple TV on. I'm going to go right over here to my scenes. So note, I already have one called Good Night. It operates in one room because I only have one room set up. I'm going to hit Add. You can do one of two things. You can actually build a scene, and you'll get a list of different things that you can do. These are the current devices I have. So I can go, well, let's see, I want Sonos, you know, you get your favorites, I want this particular station at this particular volume, and you go through that process. But another way of doing it, and doing it faster, is the system will know what is currently on. So if I go over here and say fast capture, it's going to tell me what room do you want to fast capture the information. In my family room. Click next. It's going to say, oh, you want the light in Apple TV? Yes. If I wanted to add something, I can hit the plus button and add something. But for right now, that's exactly what I want. Hit next. Okay, now difference between this device and doing it on the remote. I can say fast capture, and it will capture that information exactly like I'm doing. But with the app, you have a little bit more power. With the app, I could actually set up a timer. So this right here is for me to set up a timer. So let's say you watch a particular show like Monday Night Football, okay? So we watch Monday Night Football on Mondays, of course. So we'll click on Mondays, done. The time, what is it out here, 7 p.m. or 8? Well, say 7, okay, next. Oh, sorry, did I say that? Yeah, that's AM. We want that to PM. Okay, hit next. Oh, and I could actually even set up the time of year. So I can actually go to the year here, and I can actually put during football season from September through February, however you want to set it up. So I'll just go ahead and click next. And now I can take a can name, or I can actually name it. So in this case, I want to name it. I'm going to say, I want a Monday night, I'll spell it correctly, football. Okay, Monday Night Football. Next. So now you would take a canned image, and again, this is where the personalization happens, or I can add an image. Now, I've already done this before, so I actually have a photo that I like to select. I will take it from here, and you will notice there's a football right there. Click on that football, hit save, and there's my new Monday Night Football scene, okay? It should have it by the time I pick up the remote. Go over here and slide over. There we go. Monday Night Football, okay? So now you will notice that there's a difference between the two different guys here. This one does not have a timer, this one does. So on Monday nights at 7 p.m. in the evening with everything turned off, the TV is gonna go on, the lamp module is gonna go on, the TV is gonna go to its appropriate channel, you're set, you know, every day, or every Monday. So now let's just say you're going on vacation and you don't want the TV to go on. You can actually suspend it by just tapping on that little button icon up on top, or where the timer was, and now it's suspended. It's still there, it's just suspended. Let's say the football season's over. You don't want to, you don't want it, you're watching something else on a Monday, you don't want the TV to change. You just suspended it, but it's there for the next time. You had a question?
I think you can, I'm assuming it's applied in there, but.
Okay.
You said if everything's off and you hit that, it'll not do that, but I'm assuming it's gonna know what's on, what's off, and
correct.
Operate.
Correct. So again, let's say we had it on and you're watching the news, you're watching something else. The TV knows, or the system knows, oh, the TV's still on. All it's going to do is just change the channel. It's just going to move it to the appropriate location, because come Monday night, you want the lamp on and you want the TV to go to that particular channel. So if we want to activate it again, you just tap on the little icon and up pops the icon and we're set to go again. So now if I hit good night, everything should power off, go to its sleep mode, give it a sec, and then let's see if this works. Keeping my fingers crossed, you can feel the little sweat coming down. Monday Night Football. And Monday Night Football pops up. Lamp should go on, TV should go to its appropriate location. So that's how quick and easy it is to set up a scene. That's what makes our product really stand out over the competitive. Yes?
Is the scene then the same as a schedule?
No. The schedule is added to the scene, but you can't, to create a schedule, you would have to create the scene.
So if you're watching a cooking show that she knows are on at a certain time, I would set up a scene, put the schedule in there.
Correct.
And TV would come on.
Correct. Now, the other thing to it too is, let's just say you wanted to watch football's on ESPN, correct? I don't watch football as much as I used to.
It's on a variety of things, but yeah.
Yeah, so Monday Night Football, let's just say you wanted to watch something that's currently on that particular same channel. I can actually just hit the Monday Night Football button and it will happen exactly like I wanted to and go right to that location. So if she watches a particular cooking show at a particular time, but let's say she wanted to go to the cooking channel just to turn it on and go to that channel, she can go to that button, click it, and everything will go to there. So even though you put a schedule, the schedule is just at this time, on this day, I want to be here, but at any time you can just click it. So I can, for example, good night, I can set that up as a schedule to go off at 10 p.m. at night, turn off everything in my house at 10. But let's say at 9 o'clock at night, I'm going to bed early this night, I can still say good night, power everything off, despite there being a schedule to power everything off at a particular time, okay? Power, there we go. All right.
So is there a list somewhere of all the products that this thing will work with? Basically, that's going to be our
Yes.
our obstacle to entry with this remote. You're going to have to be able to walk somebody's house and see every single brand of every product they got,
Yep.
and find out if it'll work or not, because it just takes one, and then this remote doesn't operate the way you need it to operate, and then either you got to purchase a new product or you got to look at a different remote.
Correct. If you go to savant.com, there will be there's a tab, and I will show you that will appear on my presentation that tells you what products it works with.
Sorry if I'm jumping ahead.
Yeah, no. It's all right. It's all right. So there is an area up there, but I can show you. Watch. I'm gonna
you're talking about this old Sony that you've got, it happens to work that because Sony codes are pretty universal, but that may not be the same with, say, somebody goes into Sam's and buys some goofy off-brand TV, or
Yeah.
they go into, Sears and buys Sears new.
That is correct.
branded TV, and then all of a sudden,
The new one is Roku televisions.
yeah.
I've heard someone bought a Roku television at Sam's Club, and he says, will your remote work with it? I don't think so. I mean, as far as I know right now, I don't think we have the codes built in.
Sears has Kenmore TVs now.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, you just, that's my only concern.
Yeah.
It's incredibly slick and it has a lot of great
Sure.
features, but
but I can
we're
let's see.
basically competing, this is kind of competing against it's like a really cool slick Harmony remote, but at least with Harmony you can learn.
Yes.
I mean, it's all built for you.
And that's why I said I went to a meeting and I got blasted. I mean, literally blasted out of this room because I told them, no, our remote won't learn.
Right.
And next thing I know, I'm talking to my boss and he goes, oh, we're going to have that ability. I said, boy, you could have saved me a butt chewing if you would have told me a couple of days ago. But yes, it is.
Yeah.
We listen to our customers and we're finding the things and we're adding things. So we'll look at let's say a sound system. For example, let's see if we can do this. So one thing that I'll have to delete this. I'll probably have an error. Let's just go with a standard sound system. We'll hit done. Make sure the sound system's connected in that manner. Yes. Here's my different options as I mentioned earlier. As far as input switching, and depending on which one you select, that's how it will tell you set this up. So let's just go with this guy here. We'll use my sound. Oh, wait a second. Well, too late. I'm probably going to get an error on this. But let's hit continue. We'll say, yeah, set this up. Make sure the sound system's connected to your TV. Then it's going to go through that testing of the sound system. But yeah, I'm going to have to do this. Let me just put it on 7 just for kicks. Click next. All right. So now here's some generic ones right off the top of the bat that it says. Okay, you got Bose, LG, Samsung, Sony, Yamaha. Let's just...
You don't see
we go Onkyo?
Boston Acoustic one.
Boston Acoustic.
That's,
There's Boston Acoustic. Click next. Okay, now it wants us to test. But let's say we know some of our model. Do you happen to know any model numbers by any chance?
Boston Acoustic,
Yeah.
it's like TV40, I think it's
Okay, let's see. TV.
60 something.
Oh, there you go. So there's a bunch of them, and you can actually start drilling down a little bit deeper based on which one, if you still know some more of the codes. So you can see Boston Acoustic is loaded. We have 380,000 up there. So that must mean we cover the majority of them. As I mentioned, we don't support projectors, but in, oh, that's right, I'm under Boston Acoustic, so it's not going to pop up. Yeah, so you can see, you can do that. What I'm going to do is get out of here.
You're going to want to know all that information before you get to this point.
You should. I mean, you could, but then at the end of the day, that's why you kind of go through this, because you can test it. We have run into, I know, there was a brand new cable box. I just heard of this in Phoenix. I was just in Phoenix a couple of days ago. The brand new cable box that Cisco and Time Warner just introduced in their area. Brand new cable box. They couldn't get it to function on our remote. They were able to trick it by using a Time Warner cable box out of Boston, but now the channels don't match up. Sent an email over to corporate. Our engineers are currently trying to get those codes so that way they can load it up there, so that way we can take care of that issue that's happening in Phoenix. So if you run into these, let us know. We immediately start working on it, and we'll fix it in a couple of days, hopefully.
So, I mean, if we run into an IR code or a product that's not on there, we can email you guys, and within, say, a week or two, you guys could have the product built for us.
That's what we can, because what we do is we use a third party, and we contact that third party and say, hey, load these guys up into the cloud, we need these, and they usually get it done pretty quickly. Okay?
Yeah.
And then once we get the learning, then all that hopefully will get wiped out. So, but in the meantime, that's part of our instant software, is that we're doing it so you don't have to program. You don't have to connect a laptop. You don't have to do all these things. It's all just touch and swipe and moving on. Let me show you a little bit of the guts in here. So on this app, you will notice here's where I can set up my user profiles. If I was to go into the person up on top, click on there, it's going to pull up myself. I am the manager of this. If I wanted to lock people out, I would actually hit manage my profile. Here's where I can edit my name, email, and if I wanted to enable a passcode, I would click on enable passcode, and then anybody who wants to access my information, you have to know my 4-digit PIN code. If I wanted to add anybody, I hit plus, and now here's where you can add your different people on here. So you have 3 different users. You have guests, which can actually only manage inside the Wi-Fi, either via the app or via the remote control, but they can't edit the system, okay? So this is a good place to, let's say, put your senior parent who you don't want them to monkey with the system, but you want them to have access to the controls, or exactly, my brother-in-law, he can't use the app outside of the house. He can only use it while he's in the house. The household member has control in and out of the house. So now with the app, they can actually turn things on, turn things off before they get into the house. They can manage the scenes. They can do a variety of different things, but they can't edit the notifications or the people or the devices that are in the system, okay? So again, kids, you don't want them to access certain things, or you don't want them to be able to add certain things to the system. That's where you would lock them out. The admin, full control. Can basically do anything they'd like within the home or outside of the home, except, again, if you wanted to do any editing, you have to be inside the network to do any editing as far as devices are concerned. But admins have full control of the system. Also, in this area right here, you have a little cogwheel over on the top. If you were to click on the cogwheel, here's where you can do any kind of editing. So if you wanted to edit the house name, I have SAVANT Demo. I wanted to change it to vacation home or whatever it is, you can do that right there. If I wanted to change the photograph, I can click on the little camera icon, change it into anything that I have, or I can take a brand new picture and upload it. Rooms, if you had multiple rooms, like I have multiple rooms in my house, you can also do the editing right there. And this is where you would set up your notifications. So you click on there, you would hit add a new notification. You can set up a notification based on your lights and entertainment pieces. So if anybody turns anything on, I wish I had this when my kid was still in high school. When my kid was in high school, I know for a fact he would turn on Xbox every time I walked out the door. As soon as that garage door went boop, I know that game system went on. Now, luckily the kid is doing pretty well for himself. He works for the DOD, so he did all right. But during that time period, he was just constantly playing video games. Now, if someone turns on a video game, you go to your app, you get notified, and you can actually just power it off as soon as they turn it on. So you have full control. One of my engineers, he actually sets up Monday through Friday from 8 to 2, from September till June. Anybody turns on the TV, I want to be notified. And I see a couple of smiles, he already got it. He wants to know when his kids ditch school. And he goes, the very first thing they do is walk in the door, grab the remote, turn on the television. And he goes, I get notified. I call him up. And they're always trying to figure out, how does Dad know? He doesn't tell them that he gets these notifications. But they don't see it on their devices because that's not the way it was designed. He gets them because he's the admin. So from here, let's say we click yes, we want to know when the lights go on. Here's where you would tell where, when, and what type of notification do you want? Do you want a notification on your device, or do you want an email? And you can actually tell it which one you want, so depending on what you're doing. So we'll hit done, back, cancel, don't want to add that. What ends up happening for me is because all my devices are connected to my system, as soon as if I say anybody turns on anything, either here or in my my actual house, my laptop goes off, my phone goes off, my demo phone goes off, my pad goes off. I get notified everywhere, so I don't turn on all my notifications. Another nice part about this area right here is you will also see a tutorial area. This is good to know to tell your customers. So if the customer ever needs a little refresher on something, all they have to do is hit tutorial, and they get a tutorial on the remote, on the app, on scenes, and also on the lamp module. And as we add more products, we'll add more of these. So at the end of the day, let's say you wanted a tutorial on the remote, you hit remote. Depending on your network and how fast it is, it will populate, and it will give you, very similar to an Apple-esque video, it will tell you, okay, so what you want to do is, here's your remote scenes. If you slide over, it will say, okay, voice command, this is how you do it. You click on this button, you do the voice, and it operates. So it gives you a little tutorial on the products. You can see as it gives you that little video run. If the customer is still lost, right here at the very bottom, you would see a button called support. Right there at the bottom, they would just click on support. It will take you to the web page. At the web page, it takes you right to support, frequently asked questions. You can get all your information right here. And if this is, again, still not enough for them, if they scroll down a little bit, you would see email and phone call. And it actually gives you what time you can call 7 days a week from 9 to 11 Eastern. All you have to do is just click on 855-5-SAVANT, and it will immediately get you to the phone to call customer support. Okay? So let me hit done, get out of there. Okay, one last thing on the app. So what I'm going to do is switch homes, and I'm going to sign out of my app. Okay? So when you first download the app and you first put it on, let me go back here. This is the app that you're looking for, the one with the S with the white background. If you look up at the store, you're going to find multiple apps. You're going to find one that says SAVANT 7.0, one that says SAVANT 8.0. You're going to see another one that says SAVANT with the name SAVANT with a V in it, a little icon in the V. This is the app that you want for this particular product. Okay, so we'll click it on. Now, first thing that you want to do is create an account for a customer. So you'll walk them through setting up an account for them, password, login, and everything. Once, let's say you had to go back for a service call and you need to get into their system. Of course, the customer's not going to want you to write down their password and memorize it. So one way of getting into the system for their protection, if you slide up right here on the screen, you have an installer's login. You'll be able to enter an email address and a password, but it's not going to be stored on your system. So when you log out, the customer doesn't have to worry about you being able to log back into their system while you leave, when you're away from their home. Okay? So this is designed for you to sign in that way, and then you can do any editing into their system. Okay? Let me get back out of here.
So you can't remotely administer the system?
No.
Okay.
No. You have to be inside the Wi-Fi. Yeah. Now, if you know their password and login, you can access their system remotely. You can play with it, but you're not going to be able to change anything. Okay. So if you already have an account set up, or the customer wants to log in and hand you their phone for you to do it on there, they can sign in from here. But the key for here, for you to show to any customer who might be interested in this product, is you hit Learn More at the bottom, and you will see it says App Demo. Click on App Demo. What you will get is a canned system. Okay, this is a system that basically is theoretical, up in the air. You're not going to do any harm to it. So currently I'm showing that the light module is on. I can click and hold the light module and power it off, or I can actually tap on the light. I get my light information. It's telling me, oh, you still have a light on in the master bedroom. I can click right here. I can put it on bright if I like. Go back down to close, hit that down. I can go over here, and here I have multiple rooms.